Hello, I am Hannah Mullins, and today's lesson will be on understanding primary source research. So we will talk about what is a primary source and how to find them to conduct quality research. Our objectives today in this lesson: upon completion of this lesson, you will understand what a primary source is, and you'll be able to give several examples. You'll be able to use the Wayne State University Library website to find databases, and then you'll be able to use JSTOR and ProQuest current and historical newspapers to find primary sources. These are the two databases we will be using in our tutorial today. You'll also be able to name other databases to find primary sources. You will then also be able to use the internet to locate primary sources. We'll be using the Library of Congress digital collection today in our tutorial. And then, in addition, you'll be able to name other strategies for locating primary sources. So, imagine with me right now that you hear that Becky and James, two of your friends from high school, got into a horrible fight, and they're not even speaking to each other anymore. You heard this from your friend Karen, and she said she heard it from Billy, who heard it from Greg, that this happened. You're distraught because your friends are supposedly fighting, but you want to find out what is actually going on. What is the best and easiest way to get to the truth in this situation? I'll give you a second, but if you didn't already say it, go straight to Becky or go straight to James and ask them directly. This is because the best way to know exactly what happened in a situation is to go right to the source. So this is basically what a primary source means. A primary source is a first-hand document taken from the time that an event actually occurred. This is a source that is directly from the time it pertains to. This can be a first-hand account such as a diary, a letter, a speech, a newspaper, an art piece that was actually made during that time, a proceeding, anything that was made during that time as it was actually happening. This is important because, first of all, it is a very important part of research in general. It's great to have articles and peer-reviewed journals talking about things from the past, but it is also very necessary to have actual first-hand accounts from the time that something happened. It's also important because teachers are becoming more likely to include and require students to use primary sources in their curriculum. This is something that you will come across in college, in grad school, in your career. There's a trend towards using online avenues to find primary sources as well. So as primary sources are becoming more available online, it's becoming more of a trend to actually, access them and use them for research. So the purpose of our lesson today is to help you understand primary sources, as we've already talked about, and then just show you how best to use the resources you have access to find primary resources. So, just a quick preview of our lesson before we get started. We are going to begin by locating the Wayne State University Library website. I'm sure you may have already done this, but we are just going to cover finding that, how to find the databases on that site. Then we will be using two different databases from Wayne State Library website to find primary sources. This will be JSTOR and ProQuest current and historical newspapers. Then we will use Google to find primary sources online. As more and more sources are being put online, it becomes more necessary to be able to access them. We will be using the Library of Congress digital collection in our tutorial. And then after the lesson, there will be an assessment to assess how much of the content you actually absorbed. So we can jump right in and do our first tutorial on JSTOR. Okay, we are going to start by finding the Wayne State University Library website. This is where you will find so many resources, so many research resources. So simply by typing it into Google, will take you right to it. I normally don't sign in right away just because it will take you to Academica. So I find it easier just to go straight to the article databases, which is right over here, which you can write down on your note sheet. Everything we do in this tutorial, there will be some sort of corresponding notes on your note sheet where you can write things down to remember the process that we go through. So we are going to start by accessing JSTOR. That's our first database. There's a wealth of primary sources on JSTOR. It's probably my favorite database, to be honest. So nice and simple, just typing into the search bar. I'm going to use World War II as the example. If you want to choose something different, if you have a project you're working on, if you are interested in something else, you can choose whatever you want, or you can just follow along with what I'm doing. So you simply type it in, press enter, and this will take you to your results. You have secondary resources right here, and then primary source content. So you have all these things that you can choose. Under primary source, it really makes it very easy for you. We're going to focus on images right now, and a very important primary resource that you will use in your education career. So there it is, very easy. You've got all these different images. They've got, information about each image. You also have different ways you can refine your results. Over here you can choose a time period, you can choose specifically photographs, or they've also got like collections over here with postcards and illustrations and posters. So definitely several different primary resources that you can find. But when you just make a search like this, it's very broad, obviously. It's all going to have to do with World War II, but if you want something more specific, you can go over here in this search bar, search within results, right here on the left side, and you can search for something more specific. Maybe your project is specifically about soldiers in World War II, so we'll search for that. And here we are with a bunch of different pictures of soldiers in World War II. I'm going to choose this one. World War II Victory Celebration 1945. It's got a caption and all the information about it, and you can use this for your future projects. So that is JSTOR, just at a glance. There's lots of different things you can do, obviously, with refining searches, searching for different types of primary sources, but this is your basic JSTOR, searching for primary sources. Also, once you choose a picture or an image, make sure that you write the title down on your second handout so that you can use it later for your assessment. Next, we are going to start by finding the Wayne State University Library website. Next, we're going to talk about ProQuest, current and historical newspapers. Okay, so next we are going to navigate back to our databases. If you lost this, you know you can just go to Wayne State University Library, go to the article databases. But next we are going to find a database to find another very important primary source, which is newspapers. So we are going to locate ProQuest current and historical newspapers. Again, nice and easy, there is a search bar. I'm going to do World War II. You can use whatever subject you wish, or you can just follow along. So then we get our results. Very, very many results. But we are specifically looking for newspapers from the time period because we are looking for primary sources. So we are going to use this date range to change our dates to the time of World War II. So I'm going to do that over here. And then push update. In most databases, the left side is how you're going to filter your results, refine them, find what you're looking for. So you can change date ranges on most databases, or find different types of documents. If you're looking for an article or an advertisement, or, you know, let's see, a commentary, editorial, obituary. Sometimes, you know, you might need an obituary for a project. So if you want, really research is just playing around with it, just, you know, using the left side panel to refine your search to find what you're looking for. There's no like one way to do research. It's just, you know, taking the time to kind of figure out how to find what you need. And normally the left side is going to be where you're going to find that. So now we have just changed our date range to fit World War II. So I'm going to choose this one, World War I nurse, busy in World War II. So this is an article about a World War I nurse who became a World War II nurse. And this would be great, obviously, if you're doing a project on war nurses or World War II nurses or anything of that nature. So don't forget to write down whatever article you found, write down the title so that you can use it for your assessment later. It's also really nice because over here you can download PDF to use in a future project. So again, using the left side panel on most databases, that's how you're going to refine your search to find what you need. Okay, so now I just want to quickly talk about some other databases that you can use to find primary sources besides those two. A nice, easy way to do this is to get back to the databases again that we have been using, and then you can search within the databases for primary source databases. Push enter, and then you've got all these different databases that you can use to find primary sources. Make sure you write these down on your notes sheet as well. But ProQuest History Vault, Visual History Archive, 19th Century Collections Online, these are all very useful. Any one of these would be for primary resources. Also with many of the big databases, you know, EBSCOhost, ProQuest, anything like that, like general databases, you can usually refine your search for primary sources using that left side panel, and just look for, you know, images, documents like diaries, letters, correspondence, that type of thing, or just primary sources in general. So those are different ways that you can find primary sources using Wayne State University Library website. Okay, next we are going to delve into finding primary sources just on the internet using Google. This is becoming more and more prominent. Just there's so many resources online, and primary sources are becoming more and more available online. So we are going to start by searching for Library of Congress digital collections. So we will select that. This is an excellent source to find primary resources. So again, we're just going to do a simple search over here. Press enter, and then as you can see, it just is a wealth of primary documents. We've got different topics that you can choose. This is again a good way if you're specifically searching for something about World War II. You can, you know, choose what you want. World War II art, World War II, you know, war and military, history and folk life, social and business history. So many different topics. You can choose a different collection, and then you can also choose specific formats, so photos, prints, maps, films, newspapers. So it's just, there's just so much available on here, and so many different ways to refine your searches. I'm just going to select this one because I found it very interesting. World War II military situation maps. This could come in handy if you're doing a project on, you know, specific military strategy during World War II or something of that nature. It gives you information about the collection, gives you a wealth of information about the topic, about the resource. So yeah, just make sure that you write down which source you chose to look at on your second handout, and yes, definitely keep this in mind if you are doing primary research. Okay, so in addition to the Library of Congress digital collection, there are several ways to find primary resources online. 3 great sites are the National Archives, the Avalon Project, and Life Magazine Photo Archive. All 3 of these would be great to find primary sources online. They're all free and just a great way to just look into different sites to find different types of primary sources on different topics. In addition, there's also different strategies beyond just using the internet. One way is to contact different institutions. If your topic, you can look up if there's an institution based on that topic. For example, I did a project on William McKinley for my capstone in my undergrad, and I ended up contacting the William McKinley Presidential Library and Museum to help me find primary sources specifically, and they were extremely helpful. So just, if it's possible, looking into different institutions that might be able to help. Also conducting a simple Google search, even just not using one of these websites, but just literally searching for your topic, primary sources, see where it takes you. Visiting different libraries, so even just going into Wayne State University Library and asking the librarians for help with, finding primary sources. You can also contact different libraries because different places have different access to different primary sources. Also, just as a finish to our lesson today, once you go out after this lesson and you are starting to do research and you run into problems or you need help with something, these are some great resources to help. You can go into Wayne State Library and go to the research desk and ask for help, and they will be more than willing to help you find primary sources. You can also contact me, Hannah Brockway Mullins. I recently got married, so I'm now Mullins. That is my my email right there if you run into problems. You can also, it's really nice on the Wayne State Library website, you can chat online or contact any library faculty that you need to through their website. And so if you need to do that, here's a little tutorial on how to do that.
And then just to show you quickly, if you do need help, you can go under help right here on the Wayne State University Library website. Click chat. You can chat with somebody, send them an email, call. This is how you get into contact with Wayne State University.
So that is all. I hope you enjoyed this lesson, and thank you very, very much.